Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as usual, let's go over the market. Let's talk about what happened. Tesla performing quite well actually today. So we'll go over all that stuff. And as usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help quite a lot. And of course, as usual, this is not financial advice. Make your own decisions, do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor, blah, blah, blah. But pretty much, yeah, jumping straight into it. The market closing in about 5 minutes. Tesla looking like it'll be up, or rather closing up about, we'll say, just over 5%, about 5.2, 5.3%, putting us at about $207, which is pretty damn good considering the market, is green, but, not that green, right? It's, it's slightly green. I mean, NASDAQ being up about 0.7%. So even then, Tesla still quite severely, I would say, even, outperforming the market. You can see the market also has been sort of selling off throughout from the highs of the day, just kind of into close, which isn't great. This SPY close, by the way, ain't looking too hot, I'll be honest. This is not a very good looking close for the SPY. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to get some puts, but I really want to see the gap fill first because it might come down, gap fill, make a small bounce, and then potentially, there is a chance that the market does something like this for SPY. So I'll be waiting for that before I get puts on SPY. But nonetheless, yeah, either way, the point is Tesla is performing quite fantastically today. Now, of course, we did talk about this yesterday, right? Oh, no, yesterday, Friday. We did talk about Friday how, this candle is not too bad, not a bad candle, right? Potentially a bullish candle, and how, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of a run up into the investor day coming up Wednesday, right, which is in just a couple of days, which is of course extremely exciting as like a person that, again, I also want to make it very clear, I am a Tesla bull, Tesla. I'm a huge Tesla bull. I love the company, love what it's doing. I have a Model 3 myself, right? Absolutely adore the company and just phenomenal, truly phenomenal. But again, you want to try to detach the two, right? TSLA and TESLA, the company. You want to try to detach the two, right? They're not always one and the same, right? Especially short term to medium term, especially short term. Long term, yes, of course. Short to medium term, especially short term, absolutely not. So all that being said, though, so let's talk about it. So what does it mean, right? So like I said, on Friday, there's potential run up into investor day, which is essentially what we're seeing today. It's obviously more than I expected. I thought we'll go up to like maybe around 200, maybe like, somewhere around 200, give or take a few points. We definitely went a little bit higher than I expected. I didn't think we'll come up pretty much almost to 210. I was actually almost entering puts on Tesla. I was waiting for it to actually touch 210 or extremely close to it. It actually went up to like 209.43, which is pretty close. I guess I maybe should have, but I'm definitely going to be personally waiting to see it actually hit 210. And if I see Tesla hit 210, I will personally be entering puts, whether it's tomorrow or Wednesday. And if it doesn't, that's fine. I'm personally just waiting for it to, fall regardless, right? So all that being said, though, right? All that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, the point is the fact that Tesla is, of course, not only outperforming the market, but, it is doing that classic run up into a pretty massive event, or potentially a massive event. And this happens pretty often. So I want to make it very clear, just more of a psychological sentiment, if you will, perspective. It's pretty common Tesla runs into events like this, and it's pretty common there is a kind of, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing, you know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. There's a chance that there's a sell-off after this event. It's pretty common actually on Tesla. It's usually like that. People FOMO in thinking that there's gonna be something crazy announced, and even if there is, again, I feel like the market is kind of trying to price that in almost. But anyways, so, even though we got this bounce, right? So let's take a look at this bounce. Let's see if this bounce makes sense, right? So if we do this and go all the way to the bottom potentially here, you can see the bounce is, it makes a lot of sense actually. We pretty much came up exactly to the 0.618, and we're actually getting rejected more or less at it right now, which is pretty much 208, which is exactly more or less where the candles are having issues actually closing, and there's a lot of supply up here. And especially if it hits 210, there's apparently massive sell orders at 210, which is where I was hoping to, get a put in, potentially day trade it. But unfortunately that didn't come to fruition. Now the main thing that you can of course see that I have drawn on the RSI is, again, the bearish divergence is still very much intact, right? As the stock is essentially still making, still essentially going up. The RSI on the bearish divergence is of course still making its way down to the bottom right, while the stock is going to the top right. So that's obviously still a bearish divergence. It's still there, guys. Still something to absolutely pay attention to. This is, very important. Like you can see here, let's take a look at this candle right here, for instance, right? We pretty much went up and are pretty much closing more or less like within a dollar of this candle, this green candle over here. Back when the RSI was sitting at about 60, what is this, about 66, 67. We're pretty much exactly at that point right now, and we're at 62. So, that's of course another example of the bearish divergence still coming to fruition. So just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, of course, also on Friday and Thursday, when we bounced off this trend line down here, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bounce, and again, which is also the excuse for the run up into the investor day. But again, as long as Tesla is still trading above this yellow line, it's still short-term bullish, man. Like there's still potential that it runs or does certain things or still goes up essentially more or less, blah 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 blah. But again, if and when, most likely when, Tesla finally breaks this yellow line, which at the moment makes it a lot easier to coordinate it with the $200 level, because now you can see it's kind of, intersecting right here. So in other words, if Tesla ever breaks this line and $200, or in other words, if Tesla does just essentially break $200 down again, let's say to come, fill this gap over here, for instance, at 197 that we left this morning or something like that, that's going to be pretty bad, right? Because then that would essentially have Tesla fall down out of this little, rising situation that we have over here, which there used to be another one over here, but, we, of course, doesn't matter. If we break up above the upper yellow line, then this line up here that I will put back will start to matter again, but until then it doesn't matter. And that's essentially the main thing I'm looking at, right? I'm just being very patient here, potentially going to be adding puts very soon. If we get a rally up to around 210 to 213, something like that, that would be my area to add, like right up here. And yeah, I'm just waiting for it to fall out of this little, like, I guess, rising wedge, if you will, because again, the bearish divergence is still very obvious, and but potentially getting a triple top almost here. You can even argue this might be a potential or just a head and shoulders like this, potentially setting up like that, right? That's coming to fruition, which again, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a little bit more of a rally into Investor Day, whether it's tomorrow or whether it's actual Wednesday itself, because Investor Day is not until market close Wednesday. I think it starts at like 5 o'clock or something like that Eastern, maybe 4:30 Eastern, essentially right after the market closes. So again, wouldn't be surprised if we do get a run up into Investor Day, still even a little bit higher than we had today. Again, maybe 210, maybe even as high as like 213, right? Would not shock me whatsoever. And that would essentially either set up a head and shoulder pattern, you can see that I just showed you guys right there, or it would essentially set up a triple top, right? Oops. Where I guess I could draw it, yeah. So we have one here, and then potentially have another top right here. And this is extremely similar, guys. I want to make this very clear. This is extremely similar to what happened way up here. Now it's obviously a little bit longer, and this overall had more movement and it lasted longer. But the idea is very similar, just more condensed, if you will, right? Which is a good thing if you're a bull. The reason it's a good thing if you're a bull is because the longer things condense like this and go sideways like this, the more aggressive the move will be when it finally picks a direction. So just keep that in mind. That's very important. All right, so and the same thing that happened here, right? We essentially had, a top here. We had a top here. We came up, had another triple top here, right? And we're doing more or less the exact same thing over here. Just again on, a much shorter time frame, because it just hasn't been. It just hasn't, I mean, I think you know what I'm saying, right? It hasn't been as long as that over there, because there's just so many more candles, if you will, more days that it was in that congestion, if you will. So again, just very similar idea. So I just want to make it very clear, this is extremely important to pay attention to. Now on the flip side, if you're a bull and you want to see this thing skyrocket to, like, I don't know, 230 or something like that, which again, it's still technically possible. I'm not going to completely dismiss that. I just don't think it's likely. But in order to see that happen, you would pretty much want to see 215 break, and most importantly, hold. You want to see like a daily closure above 215 or something like that. That is extremely important. If that happens, then that's when the next level begins to get unlocked. But until then, all I view as this is essentially just a FOMO rally into Investor Day. And I do think that a lot of people are going to get trapped, and a lot of people will get burned, and a lot of people will not be very happy about this. So that's just my opinion, of course. Take it as you will, but I definitely believe that this is going to be a trap waiting to happen. Again, the SPY finally closed. Take a look at the SPY. Not the best close in the world. So we'll see where this ends up taking us as well. It's under 400. It's under this yellow line still. It tried to get back up above, but it really just couldn't. So, I mean, it's technically right at the yellow line, so it's like it's pretty close. So it's hard to say. It's kind of on extremely thin ice. So we'll see where that actually takes us, I guess. But not looking amazing. RSI is not looking all that bullish at all. So we'll see where this overall takes us. But ultimately, guys, the TLDR is the fact that I'm personally still expecting this to just essentially be a massive bull trap, guys. Just my opinion, of course. Take it as you will. If you listen, if you don't listen, it's not up to me. I really couldn't care less. I'm just giving you my thoughts. Do with it what you will. Make your own decisions as usual, of course. But that's essentially more or less what I'm seeing. And of course, that RSI bearish divergence is still very much present and prevalent. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below, ladies and gentlemen. I'm adding puts between 210 to 215, in my opinion. Just my opinion, is a zone to add puts, and I will be adding puts if it gets into that range. And then we'll go from there. But all that being said and done, I do thank you all so much for watching. At the moment, if you're wondering, I don't have any shorts, puts, nothing. I'm not short Tesla at all right now. I'm just being very patient, and I'm just kind of waiting and letting that play come to me. I'm not rushing into a play, and I'm just kind of letting it be. And I am about 90% cash. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.